Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most compassionate. And may Allah's almighty peace and grace be upon the most honorable messengers, the Prophet Muhammad bin Abdullah and his descendants. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon everyone. Today we will start with a new lesson, and which will be also divided into two parts. Today we will cover the first and second part. Tomorrow, inshallah, we may, inshallah, complete part C. The title today is How do you answer the call of Allah? And it's also part 1. It will be continued by part 3. Today, the main idea will be about purifying our heart and body, but we will make a revision as introduction. Then we will enter with the new ideas of this lesson. As usual, let's talk about the previous ideas. We, in a hurry, said that Allah Almighty wants us to live the real life, which, what is this real life? Which cannot be achieved unless we know Him. It's the life of knowledge, of knowing Allah. And honor ourselves with getting closer to Him, being close to Allah here and in paradise. Also, we said that in order to be grateful for Him, for honoring and taking care of us, we must answer the call of Allah. So, if we answer the call of Allah and the Prophet, we will be grateful for Him, and He will honor and take care of us. Also, we should know that such response has its morals and forms of purification. This can be translated and this can be shown by prayers, recitation of the Quran, dua and supplication, jihad, and etc. Every work which is leading us toward Allah. So the key word and the door for our lesson today is the morals and forms of purification. We will inshallah show the details with coming paragraphs. The first one is this slide. How do we answer the call? We will not repeat what was mentioned before. You can read it. But for example, we talked about the idea that we have been created, and the greatest rejoice, the greatest happiness that we shall ever achieve is to know Allah. This is the main goal. This is the great aim. This can be done in parallel with worshipping Him. They should be accomplished together, and the result will be the greatest pride and happiness. Also, from the previous ideas, you remember that Allah and Prophet Muhammad calls us in order to come to Him, in order, if you remember, the overall result was that we will be survived, we will get the real life. Now, let's presume that a great renowned person invited one of us to a feast. What will we do? And if this it happens a lot in our daily life. The guest likes that host. If the guest likes that host and the guest wishes to win his host's friendship, he will take care of everything that makes him look decent in order to meet such a host. Also, we will see that the guest would do his best to be up to the meeting with such person. So imagine a feast in which the guest is to be honored. How will this guest behave? We, as this guest, we are invited to Allah's neighborhood. Allah wants us to come to Him, but how? Decorated with all what increases closeness and amicability to Him. He wants us to take off all what would make Him turn His face away from us. Every disgusting, every bad, every filthiness, every material and immaterial filthiness, because these prevent us from coming closer to Him. So He guides us to the way that leads to winning His love. As usual, from the Holy Quran, we read, and Allah loves those who make themselves pure. It's a verse showing us that Allah likes this kind of being pure, clean, and empty, and far from filthiness and dirt. Allah loves whom? Allah loves those who reprimand, avoid, and purify themselves from sins, and loves those who purify themselves from filthiness and dirtiness. Also, you should know why do we purify. Next time, inshallah, we will read how do we purify, and we will try to show it and apply it. But now, why do we purify? Material things are the image of immaterials. They seems and look like immaterial ones. For instance, if man left taking care of his body so that he didn't clean himself or take a bath, how would he be? How will he be after a period? After a period of time, his body become dirty, and the traces of the same shall be evident on the organs of the body. Imagine how ugly and disgusting odors and smells will be emitted from his clothes, from his body. All the foregoing leads to the reproduction of germs, diseases, and then death. Death, remember that this word, death, as it is in the material field, it is in the immaterial one. And we are seeking the real life, the life of the souls. Also, it will cause the reluctance and the repulsion of other people. Therefore, cleanliness, now we should put in our mind how to compare in parallel these material ideas to those immaterial ones. Cleanliness is too important for the safety of the body and the soul. The commander of faithful, Imam Ali, peace be upon him, and his sons, Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein, said, clean clothes prevent sadness and grief, and they are purification for prayers. Another words for the greatest apostle, peace be upon him and his descendants, the Prophet Muhammad, says, dirtiness is the worst can a servant do. He also described the importance of cleanliness of the body and clothing by saying, purification is halfway to believing. Look, it's very dangerous if we don't obey. It's the halfway to believing. So if we didn't apply, halfway will be lacking and we won't arrive. As a matter of fact, man is of two dimensions: his appearance and body, the physical, the out, and his inside and soul, the spiritual. The spiritual. Now we will complete by talking about the outer and the physical impurity. There are, as you know, impurity conditions that require ritual. You know, there are major impurity and minor impurity. Some impurity condition requires only ablution, like being sleep or other things like getting rid of feces and urine, and some require al-ghusl, and it's not it's called the great hadath. It's the major hadath. So the hadath in its two aspects hinders fitness and legibility to humans to be among praying individuals or those circling the house of Allah in Mecca. They would not be able to get the honor of being inside the mosque praying. They will not get the honor of being close. And since Allah knows the effect of slumber, urination, and other things that causes impurity of the body and of the soul, like touching dead bodies, and since He knows that they leave an impeding impact on the owner of worshipping Him, He, Almighty Himself, teaches us how to remove such impediments. He, by the way of the Prophet Muhammad, by the way of the Imams who are the descendants of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him and his descendants. Finally, we will read this these golden words of Imam Rida describing the role of ablution or wudu. He says a servant must be purified whenever he is to stand before Allah for prostration, thus obeying Him in all His orders, so pure of the filth and impurities. Purity deletes idleness and slumberousness, and chastens the heart to be fit to appear before Allah. Inshallah, see you next time to complete the second part, and have a nice day.